So, you might have heard about this little war they got going on between Russia and Ukraine. Well, despite what you hear on the news, Russia is winning bigly. They're taking over cities. They have more and better trained troops. They have more supplies. They have more of everything. They're just winning. And no matter what MSNBC tells you, they're going to take over major parts of Ukraine, if not all of it, if they want to. Now, Germany, other parts of the EU, and Biden really do not want this to happen. It's a disaster, global catastrophe, blah, blah, blah. I don't have any opinions on that. I don't really care. I will not be putting up a Ukraine flag on my bio. But Russia holds all the cards here. Russia is one of the largest natural gas exporters to Europe. Now, I've talked about this before on this channel, but it's starting to get a little spicy. The EU has promised financial aid to Ukraine, and Ukraine needs it. I mean, they're still not going to win, but they need it. Now, the UK may have to cut financial aid to Ukraine because when it all comes down to it, they can't afford it. Now, I know you guys come here for mainstream stories, and then we dig into the real juicy details that you don't hear about in other places. And let me tell you, this one is juicy, and you are going to love how this ends. I don't think you're going to be able to predict where this story's going. Okay, let's get into this. So, funds have been promised to Ukraine by the EU. Okay, back in March, the European Commission proposed a $9 billion loan. Billion euros, $1 billion. Oddly enough, they're worth the same right now. That's a whole other story. But they proposed a $9 billion loan to Ukraine, set to be backed by guarantees from the governments of EU members. However, so far, the bloc has managed to agree only on a first tranche worth $1 billion. Oh, you guys got to step it up. The USA has already given Ukraine over $50 billion that we know of. What have we got for our money? Sorry, getting off track. That's a whole other issue. So, according to Bloomberg, the holdup is because Germany tried to convince the EU to provide non-refundable grants through the International Monetary Fund rather than loans. Non-refundable grants? Now, I'm not sure on all this techno banker talk, but is that free money? Sounds like free money. $9 billion in free money. To who? And what do they get for that? Oh, these are questions that'll never be answered. So, a German official was quoted as saying that Berlin does not want to bear the brunt of guaranteeing Ukrainian loans and has asked other members to chip in more. Separately, a $1.5 billion loan by a European investment bank was said to have been blocked within the EU because more guarantees are needed to secure the sum. So some people in the EU are trying to give loans to Ukraine, which, let me tell you, they're never going to be paid off. Ukraine is going to be absorbed, or at least all the parts that are worth anything are going to be absorbed by Russia. Pretty soon, actually. Ukraine's done. So here's where this gets interesting. Germany is kind of leading the charge on this, okay? They're one of the biggest industrial nations, and they kind of have the most money. So what they're doing is they're kind of telling everyone else what to do. But some of the smaller EU countries are like, no, we're kind of done with giving free money to Ukraine. Okay, so now that I laid the groundwork on this, and I said that Germany is the most industrialized country in Europe, okay? They need a ton of natural gas to run all their factories. It's very industrialized. They make all the cars. They make a lot of machinery. They make a lot of tools. They make things. It's fantastic. They have a really good economy, but they need natural gas to do it. Now, since they shuttered all their nuclear plants to provide energy, they have been relying on windmills and solar, and it has been a disaster. We can go into that on some other video if you want, but at this point, just trust me, it's not going well. So they've been buying just an unfathomable amount of natural gas from Russia, and they're using the Nord Stream pipeline. Now, this news comes as the EU is grappling with soaring inflation. Germany has been particularly concerned that sanctions and tensions with Russia could compel Moscow to cut off the flow of Russian gas, which would cripple the German economy. It says could cripple. Trust me, it would cripple. I replaced that word on purpose. The German government has repeatedly warned that such a scenario would increase unemployment and poverty. Fuel shortages would be catastrophic for some industries. Economy Minister Robert Habeck told the magazine Der Spiegel last month. Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban raised a similar point on Friday. I think he was a little more eloquent. He says that by imposing sanctions, the European economy has shot itself in the lungs and is gasping for air. Bravo, sir. I like this guy. He's a pretty good guy. What would be the worst thing that Russia could do to make sure that Germany stops funding its enemies, i.e. Ukraine, in this little skirmish they got going on? Any guesses? Any guesses? So Russia decides right about now would be a good time to close down the pipelines, for maintenance. Wink, wink. Now, keeping in mind, Germany needs natural gas from Russia. Russia controls the gas, and Germany is basically financing Russia's enemy. Who do you think holds the cards in this game? Who do you think is going to make the rules? So, after the brief maintenance shutdown it started on the 14th and was scheduled to end on July 22nd. Hey, that's coming up this week. Russia said, hey, you ever heard the term force majeure? Yeah, it means we're not giving you any gas. Gazprom declares force majeure will halt gas flows to Germany indefinitely. This is getting interesting. So here's how this article goes. Now, this article just broke today, Monday, July 18th. So this is fresh. It's already 10 days before the July 22nd European doomsday, when the scheduled Russian 10-day maintenance of the crucial Nord Stream pipeline to Germany is slated to end, but which was thrown into deep doubt given Gazprom recently said it can no longer guarantee its good functioning due to crucial turbines previously held up in Canada related to sanctions. Wait, what? So Gazprom can't provide the gas because Canada makes the turbines, and Canada has sanctioned Russia, therefore Russia sanctioned Canada, and it's hurting Germany. This is just brilliant. When I first read this, I laughed out loud so hard. My wife had to ask if I was okay. In Canada, who is really not involved with the Ukraine and the Russia war, obviously they're not. They're 6,000 miles away. They decided, well, we want to be woke too, and we want to show our solidarity for Ukraine, and we're blocking everything from Russia. So the turbines made in Canada, they're delayed to Russia, who needs those turbines to send gas to Germany. Oh, I love it. I love it. So, all right, though Canada's in the mix now. Simply put, Gazprom declared extraordinary and extreme circumstances to void itself from all contractual obligations to this customer. Thus, the gas will stop flowing indefinitely. Oh boy. All right, this letter is dated July 14th. It said the force majeure measure, a clause invoked when a business is hit by something beyond its control, was effective from deliveries starting June 14th. Here's where it gets funny. Gazprom sent the force majeure notice to at least 3 buyers, blah, blah, blah. Uniper says it has received a letter from Gazprom Export in which company retroactively claims force majeure for past and current shortfalls in gas deliveries. Uniper, we consider this to be unjustified and have formally rejected force majeure claim. Uniper, I'm guessing, is a German company that really, really wants some natural gas coming from that sweet, sweet Russian Nord Stream pipeline. Russia controls the gas. Russia controls the pipeline. If Russia says get gas, you can stomp your feet all you want. You're not getting any gas. So we reject your force majeure claim. And then what? And then what? What do? Nothing. You do nothing. Russia is holding all of the cards. They win. How long do you think it'll be before Germany capitulates and pulls all funding for Ukraine? Now, this will actually be good in the long term because it'll make this war come to an end faster and more lives will be saved and we can get back to continuity and stability. Unless Biden opens up the faucets and starts pouring another 10, 15, $20 billion a month to Ukraine. Unfortunately, that's most likely. As we've been detailing, German authorities have of late taken unprecedented steps in anticipation of an enduring Russian gas halt, essentially dimming the lights across the country, which has included everything from limiting hot water to shutting down swimming pools to quite literally dimming city streetlights as it entered alarm stage over dwindling supply. Now, what this is going to happen to Germany is when they can't get the gas, and it is, I've heard anywhere between 20 and 40% of the energy used in Germany comes from natural gas that comes from Russia. Now, of course, these are industry secrets, and of course, they're national secrets, and Russia's not going to tell, and Germany's certainly not going to show how weak they are. So when you see these numbers, they may or may not be accurate, and I don't blame them for that. No one's going to say exactly how much they need from the enemy because that's a strategically horrible move. So keep that in mind when someone says, I know exactly how much energy Germany's using. I don't think you do. I mean, you may think you do, but it's not guaranteed. In an analysis from earlier this month, UBS economists laid out a detailed vision of what they see happening if Russia halts gas deliveries to Europe, which they just did. It would reduce corporate earnings by more than 15%. The market sell-off would exceed 20%, and the stock 600 and the euro would drop 90 cents. The rush for safe assets would drive benchmark German bond yields to 0%. Now, if you don't know what a lot of this means, is that the stock market, the market sell-off would exceed 20%. That means people are going to pull money out of the stock market, and they're going to sell as much as they can and rush to what you call safe assets. Now, that used to be things like gold or silver or oil or now Bitcoin, perhaps. Some people still consider that a safe asset. But it's going to be devastating for the German economy. So Russia invaded Ukraine. Germany is backing Ukraine, but Germany needs most of their resources from Russia. Russia just took out Germany and Ukraine in one maneuver, and Canada helped. So, what's next for Germany? Seriously, they need to make some hard decisions. If they were smart, they would drop to their knees and beg Russia for forgiveness. Get the oil flowing again, get all of their assets, troops, and cash out of Ukraine, and be done with it. I don't think they will, which means this is actually going to hurt the German people probably the worst. I mean, Ukraine, yeah, they have it pretty bad. For the people in Germany, this is a self-inflicted wound. Yeah, Viktor Orban might have been right.